Have you achieved everything you wanted to achieve?
No, there's not enough time for that.
Period.
Period. I think I could probably be the most successful person on earth in music, and I would still probably not feel like I've achieved all I wanted to. You know what I mean? And I think that is part of what keeps you going. You know what I mean? And part of what maybe keeps you valid. You know, I mean, if we were to put out records and think to ourselves, oh, this is the greatest thing. You know, we're still great and we're the greatest, and this is awesome. Then that's bullshit. You know what I mean? That's
Right. And it would come through.
it's not true, and it would probably, and it would most likely be very contrived, and it wouldn't be real, you know. And I think part of the realness in art is always striving for that thing that makes you better or helps you evolve musically or artistically.
If it did end tomorrow, would there be any regrets about things you wish you'd done differently?
No, man, you should never regret anything. I mean, I don't think. I mean, if you have regrets, then that leads to a lot of guilt and a lot of, like, you know, more mental problems, I think, you know. The only thing you can do is look back at the past and look at what you've done and learn from it. You know, I don't regret anything I've done. I mean, yeah, I've made some really bad decisions along the way, but that's what you do, and
Right.
you learn from them and you move on, you know.
The mask is not so much of a marketing. It's not a way to sell kids more shit.
No, I mean, if honestly, I hate wearing that fucking thing. I can't stand it, and but it's the moments leading up to putting it on that I can't stand and I hate. Once it's on and I'm on stage, I forget that it's on. It's such a second skin that it doesn't affect me anymore.
I want to go down the list,
Okay.
and just in your words, what each of these people bring to the band, or
I'm
you
not
know.
doing this.
No.
No.
When you're on the road with the band, what's the most frustrating thing about it?
Finding privacy, probably. You know, you give all that up when you're on and I mean, you give it up when you go on tour, anyways. But
Right.
then when you're on tour with a band with 9 guys in it, then, you know, forget about it. The only privacy you get is if you climb in your bunk on the tour bus, or if you're lucky enough to have your own hotel room on a day off.
Right.
You know.
How has Slipknot affected your personal life?
Wow. What personal life? You know, I mean, it's hard to say whether or not that's Slipknot or just me. You know what I mean? I mean, you're really in control of your own personal life. You know, as far as relationships and friendships, like, you know, things like that are concerned. People come and people go throughout your life. Whether or not that's Slipknot's fault, I can't say. You know.
Overall, you're definitely somebody who's got a very kind of, I guess, free will oriented outlook. Like it's up to you.
Well, I kind of always have had the mentality that I just want to be able to not have any baggage, so to speak. Like, to be able to, like, and maybe it's like just not wanting to be responsible or not wanting to grow up or anything like that. I've kind of had this, like, waiting for life to begin sort of mentality. Mm-hmm. And maybe it began a long time ago and I just haven't caught up with it yet. But
in some ways, it feels like it hasn't begun yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting for, you know, that thing to happen to affirm, okay, now it's okay for me to grow up and feel responsible or this or that, you know. And to me, I'd just rather be able to, at the drop of a hat, leave if I wanted to. If I want to go to Italy, I can. If I want to go to Japan, I can. And there's something that's very liberating about that feeling, even if it can be lonely at times.
And what constitutes tour lag? What are the symptoms?
How does it manifest itself?
Yeah.
With anxiety, I think. When I come home, I'm pretty reclusive. I usually don't leave the house. It's a lot different from how I imagined it. You know what I mean? People don't really realize how much work does go into doing what you do as a band. I mean, had this happened to me when I was a lot younger, I probably would have fallen on my face and failed miserably. But since it's happening now, I think it's a lot better, and I think it happens for a reason. When it's time. Otherwise, it's really easy to let it get out of hand and to possibly even throw it all away. And when I had the dream of doing all this, I used to think, oh man, I want to be famous and be a rock star and get out of here. And we've been doing this since '99, and I'm still here. So it's home, and nothing's ever going to change that.
How would you describe like the difference between Slipknot in 1998 and Slipknot now?
Um, I would say the Slipknot in '98 it was very infantile. It was kind of like learning how to walk in a way. And there was a lot of emotions, mainly rage and anger, that were, you know, manifesting inside the animal of Slipknot at that time. And I think now it's more like it's more like maybe somebody who's just become aware. You know what I mean? All of a sudden they're aware, and they still have all that anger and that aggression, but now they know where to focus it. But that's not to say that the next album won't be like going back towards the direction of Iowa or even heavier. And that's another beautiful thing about Slipknot, is it could do whatever it wants. It could go in any direction, and nobody even knows what direction that would be, not even us for the most part.